let's get right to it, because today's episode is about how fast can we really move when we start a new Rails project in the RailsQuest way. We're going to find that out today. So we're going to use the new RailsQuest Rails template. We're going to use the default template with the recommended settings. All right. Project name, let's call this QuickShip, and let's go. Just as a side note, because you should really be able to do this yourself as a Rails developer, this is all the code to set up what I'm about to show you. It installs standard to lint your code, Rails best practices gem to check for best practices, and ERD, it generates a diagram of your database. Anyway, you can find it on the RailsQuest GitHub. Okay, we have everything done. So what this has given us is we already have user sessions and authentication, and I will show you that in just a moment. Oh, I need to actually go to the QuickShip app, bin dev, localhost 3000. Okay, so yes, we have a basic sign up form. Let's very quickly create a user here, user.finderCreateBy. Yeah, but you can't do that with password. User.password equals nothing fancy. I happen to know that the template gives you a minimum password length, so I'm not even going to try to circumvent that or anything. So it's admin@example.com. And that has run, so now we can do password 1 2 3 4 5 6, and there we are. Very basic application, no functionality, no extra styling beyond the Rails Tailwind stuff. But this is good. This is a good start. So now what do we want our QuickShip app to do? Well, we want it to be your typical starting point of a to-do list app. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. I can't think of anything else faster. Rails generate to-do list. We'll give it a name. And nah, we won't even make it unique. We need to user. Okay, we need to reference the user so the user can have their own to-do lists. Oh, yeah, scaffold. Go to-do lists. All right, and we're already looking like Tailwind here. Let's go ahead and scaffold to-do item, and we'll say title. Call it a title. Here I am obsessing over the names of things when this is just a QuickShip example app. So let's move faster. This is going to reference to-do list. All right, back to to-do list. To-do items. And you can, the way Rails does this is it gives you a to-do list field to enter into. So let's go to the root. All right, so we need to change a couple things about this. Before we go to Aitor, let's go to routes. Let's actually, do we want to scaffold? Let's do this. Rails G, not scaffold, controller, profile. Let's look at the options for controller. We want to, okay, yeah, you can skip routes. What I'm looking for is a way to control the routes. I want to only add show. Oops. Setting profile show. Resource profile. Okay. Root profile. No. I want to keep the root that we already have set. Profile is going to hold basically everything that's in the currently in the home index page. So let's go ahead and do that. App views home index to app profile that views profile show. Before I do that, let's see profile. Initialize constant profiles controller. And let's see what I did. Profile controller. Everything's broken because I used singular. That's what I was afraid of. Rails destroy. We'll call it settings instead. And let's take another look at the routes. Settings is controller. Oh, sometimes these tools are too smart for their own good. Okay. Okay. Now we're cooking. So what I was going to do, I was going to copy views home index to app views settings show. Right. So it's ugly, but it's there. Now we can redesign the home index page. Let's take that. All right, we're just going to go in cold here. Actually, add views. Oh my. Views layouts. Here we go. Give me an interesting and intriguing, colorful, and exciting design for this new app. The theme of the app is shipping fast. It's called QuickShip. Please design the layout and the home page. We're just going to have a little fun with this one. Experience unparalleled shipping speeds. Okay, it committed the changes for us. No, thank you. Don't need to restart it. QuickShip. So this is something that Claude tends to do wrong for me. It won't make the page fill up the whole screen. Now, it didn't do much for me in terms of designing the actual home page. What am I going to tell it? All right, that's a good start. Now, I want to replace everything on the home page with a simple to-do list. Actually, okay, scratch that. We're going to keep those things in the view context. We're going to, we want to add some things. Get status, get add a, what do we got here? Yeah, a bunch of scaffolded stuff. You can ask Aitor to commit something for you. Now, views, layouts, yeah, application layout, and then read. We want a read-only file of, yeah, fig routes, so it knows what is available. All right, I'm going to kind of throw a Hail Mary here and see if it's up to the task. I don't really want it to get fancy with a bunch of turbo frames and whatnot and make it that fancy. I just want it to make a to-do list app on the homepage using the already existing models. Create a to-do list functionality on the home page using the models and routes that already exist, as you can see in the routes file. Forgot what I usually do when I ask it to do a site design. I usually give it access to the Tailwind configuration. I'm not sure what it's done because I was talking while it was working. Oh boy, it's colorful, all right. So this is the redesign it made for us. That's interesting. So really I need to move that over to the settings page, but to-do list, create a new to-do list. Hello, world. One error prohibited this to-do list from being saved. The user must exist. All right, that's easy to fix. Do I want to keep this session open? I'm really not sure what all it did. Add a form to create new to-do lists, a list of existing to-do lists. For each to-do list, it shows list items and a form to add new items, a delete button for each to-do item. Yes. So what do I need to do? Add, this is going to be mostly about routes, drop. You drop files because you don't want to send more stuff to Claude than you have to, because you have to pay for more context that way. Add controllers, passwords, profiles, sessions, to do lists. Yes. You need to set the user on the to-do list to the current user. Suggest that. Attribute title for to-do list. Views, home. To-do list.all. This is to create a list. All right, fine. Maybe I should have been more consistent with my naming. It's an undefined method. Okay, title. No more references to title. Schema. To do items description. Okay, that's what it has. Content description. Maybe content would be better. Aha. To do list has many to do items. It's funny, it's not showing the title of the to do list. So the flow of this thing is a little bit messed up, and also the rendering is odd. It's like, well, it's just not even showing anything there, because I would bet that to do list permit title. So that's why that name isn't showing up. Now, if I go to description, to-do list ID, oh, it's probably in the form use content. Maybe that's a better name. Delete, back, item, add, back, we've got an item. Okay, name, new list. Cool, we can't delete lists. At least not on this screen. Okay, so clearly the workflow needs a little bit of work, but it's got some marketing copy under there. We'll fix those bugs later. For now, I'm more interested in shipping this thing. All right. So if you have Fly installed, it should be as simple as the instructions laid out right here. Our handy template already added this. Fly launch, that's what it is. I don't want to get charged much for this, so I'm going to tear it down when we're done, but I do want to show that it's working. Nope, that looks good. Oh, I probably don't need a gigabyte of RAM. Oh well. The suspense is killing me. Oh, look at that. Good timing. All right. Copy that. Right over here. Whoops. What is this? Okay. Ah. I need to fly console C fly run. It's probably about the in Rails. What did I do wrong? Maybe I need to put this all in one string. Oh, fly deploy. Goodness gracious. There shouldn't be any changes to what it built. So it should be a pretty quick deploy. Now, this is how you can get your database. I would imagine. Great. Great. Well, I guess we need to look at the errors. I could get the logs. Server error. New session path. Sure enough, there's this is why you have test suites. Log in. There's no new session path. Did our AI make that up? Let's see. Right. It's going to be the sign-in path. So there it is. I'm going to fuse session. Add fuse layout. Yes. Redesign the new session page to match the current layout design. Fingerprint. Okay, there we go. Now, okay. That's not everything I did, but that's okay. Fly, deploy again. And while that's building, I'll just talk about what our to-do list could do. We could make strategic use of turbo frames. You could have a turbo frame here that has an ID that matches the to-do list page, wherever the to-do list, oh, there we go. 1, I'm gonna assume 1. I don't know why that's invisible. Yeah, hello world. So that actually returns us back to the index page. It's that's the correct flow. Cool. So these other controllers, we could either make them redirect back in a similar way, and then we would end up with this kind of clunky situation you saw here, where we're scrolled to the top of the page. Or we can start to dig into the turbo frame stuff and update the content within this frame. So we could still redirect back to this page, but it would only refresh this piece of the page that is wrapped in the turbo frame. And then we could add these guys either as like a toast that's always shown and floats up here, or maybe it goes down in here, something like that, a little notification. And then you just draw boxes and do the same thing. You can draw a box around your list here, and when you redirect back to the home page, it would just update that little piece of the UI when you add a new item. So now we're here, and if I go back to SSH console, command Rails seed. It's a terrible idea to do on a real app, but I'm going to tear this thing down. Oh, I think that's what it was. Hey, and now we've got the same app. Hello world, create list, hello world, and all that good stuff. And I guess it's responsive too. So there you go. Imperfect as it is, this was very quick. You can see how the template allows you to get straight to the coding, the actual interesting stuff for your application, instead of having to slog through the boilerplate of setting up users and all that. You don't have to depend on a big heavy library for authentication like Devise. As you can see, we had full control over these views. You can have full control over the Devise views too, but it's not necessarily built. It's not built that way out of the box. So I like how much control you have with the authentication 0 gem. And that is about it. Oh, and we also saw how Aitor, or an AI in general, can just help you come up with, I mean, this is goofy, and it's my fault because the prompt was goofy. I knew it was going to be goofy. I told it to make a colorful design, and it's about to make my eyes bleed. But you can see it was responsive to my request. So if you can ask it for new designs whenever you want. But that's a really effective way, and I would encourage you to get your design right the way that you want it, using AI, and then maybe tweaking what it does and having that feedback loop. Get that done pretty early, because you're going to build out a lot of stuff on top of that. Yeah, that is QuickShip. I'm going to tear this thing down and get ready to move on to some other things. But thanks for joining me on this RailsQuest adventure. I'll see you next time.